Hi, I'm Mish D Max and I'm here to share this monochromatic purple smoky eye look. Purple is one of my favorite colors to wear on both the eyes and lips, and I think this tutorial can show you how to make a purple smoky eye look refined and well done without losing any punch from the dramatic makeup or losing the edge. First I prepared my mouth with Bepanthen ointment and smeared it on my lips with a finger. Then I primed my lids with Too Faced Shadow Insurance all the way from lash line to brow and under the eye as well. For a base, I took MAC Paint Pot in Painterly and applied it to my brow bone with the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush, smoothing it down with my finger to blend it into the skin and fade it down to the crease. This will give a natural highlight and counteract any skin discoloration and veins that might take away from the purple eyeshadow. Now on to the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and I grabbed the eyeshadow Strand with a Sigma E50 large fluff brush and applied it over the Painterly base, laying it down liberally all the way across my brow bone and including the inner corner of my eye socket too. Back to that same palette and the eyeshadow Limit, which I applied as a transition shade with the Sedona Lace EB09, running that through my crease so I can blend out the dark shadows easier and curving it around to the outer corner of my lid to create a rounded frame for the eye look. And now for the MAC Chromographic Pencil in Rich Purple, which I used as a colored base, drawing the product on my eyelid, starting close to the lashes and blending it out with my finger towards the crease. You don't want to go too high up with this base as you apply it, so you can have room to blend out later. I built up the opacity and made sure it was the darkest at the lashes, really getting it in there. And I quickly ran the transition shade over the edge. Then I went for the Sugarpill Burning Heart palette and chose the Shadow Poison Plum, which I patted on with the Sigma F70 concealer brush. I packed on the color with a flat brush to get the best payoff and created a round shape, avoiding the very outer corner of my lid to give myself some room to blend. I took the edge of that flat brush to begin buffing the perimeter of the eyeshadow, holding my lid taut so the skin doesn't move and give jagged lines. Then I went back in with the EB09 and mixed the shadows Limit and Nuna to run them over the edge of the shadow. Now for the Sleek Makeup Acid palette, and I took the Neon Purple with the Sigma E36 blending brush to get this smoky eye really going. I used little circular motions with the tiny blending brush to start to fade the dark purple up into my crease. You always have to layer similar toned eyeshadows if you want a smoky eye to really work, and it takes a bit of time and patience, but the result will be worth it. Then I mistakenly took the Inglot Shadow in number 493 Double Sparkle and ran it over the edge, but I wanted a completely matte look, so I changed my mind and tried to buff that out, then went into the Sugarpill Heartbreaker palette and grabbed 2AM instead on that ever-useful tiny blending brush and bridged the gap between the Poison Plum Dark Purple and the crease. With that, I kept the rounded shape and evened out both eyes, also going back to the lighter Neon Purple from the Acid palette to further take the color upwards and smooth it out, taking it from inner crease all the way around the dark Poison Plum shade to the outer edge and softening that outer corner too. My lid shade needed some pumping up after all that blending, so I went back to the Sugarpill Poison Plum eyeshadow and packed on some more. I went back for more Nuna on that blending brush to help the purple finally meld into my skin tone, and then brightened up the brow bone with more Strange overlapping the edge of the crease to give a soft fade. I really love this palette for any purple, pink or red eyeshadow looks because it complements them really well and helps blend those shades out. I cleaned up the inner tear duct area with some makeup remover and a cotton bud to make room for the highlight and remove the purple fallout. And then I took out my new NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Cottage Cheese and laid down that shimmery white base all over the inner corner, then patted it in with my fingertip to blend. I really hate the name of this product because cottage cheese is so gross. Next I went for my Little MAC palette and grabbed the eyeshadow Vellum with the Sigma E46 shader inner corner brush and applied the violet duochrome shadow over the white base, also taking it onto the corner of the lid and blending it up into my inner crease and along the beginning of my lower lash line. This is such an awesome shadow for any purple look. Then I cleaned off any fallout from my face and lower lash line with a makeup wipe, and I also neatened up the outer corner of my eyeshadow. Next I used the MAC Chromographic Pencil in Rich Purple again and ran it along my lower lash line, then blended it out with a cotton bud. I added some more product and made it thicker on the outer third, tapering it in towards the inner corner. I went back to Sugarpill Poison Plum and used the tip of the brush to set the pencil while holding my hand under my eyes to catch any fallout. I blended under the lower lashes with the tiny blending brush to begin smoothing it out, using a tissue to cover my cheek, and then I picked up a combination of Limit and Nuna on the end of the brush, and I used it to fade out the purple into my skin tone and connected that to the upper lid, keeping a round but lifted shape that works on my eye shape. Then I took some vellum on the tiny inner corner brush and continued that tear duct highlight shade across over to the inner third of my lower lash line, blending it on top of the Poison Plum. Next I grabbed Inglot Matte Gel Eyeliner in number 77 and I took a pointed cotton bud to apply that to my waterline, adding darkness to the smoky eye closest to the eyeball, and I smudged it into my lashes, then also ran that on my tight line so my eyes would be delightfully rimmed in black. I amped up the tear duct with more vellum and blended it out with some Strange on that fluff brush. I took some more of the gel eyeliner on a pointed cotton bud and smudged that into the outer third of my upper lash line, buffing it out so it didn't have a harsh line, and I joined that up to my lower lash line, and I also tapered off the line towards the center of my lid, not going all the way to the inner corner. I added some more purple to soften the top edge and took out Sugarpill Bulletproof Eyeshadow and the Sigma E65 small angled brush to set that line and blur it some more, also adding some to the outer lower corner. I brought out the purple again to strengthen the lid and added some back to the lower lash line that the black overwhelmed, angling the shadow up. And then I went on to brows with Benefit Browsings in light, using the wax side first and setting that with the powder side using the little brushes that came in the kit. I brought out Benefit Gimme Brow in light to comb my hairs into place. I curled my lashes well at the base and in the middle to prepare them for mascara, for which I used Maybelline Pumped Up Colossal Mascara with the CoverGirl Clump Crusher applicator, adding a crap load on the top and also plenty on the bottom. Then I moisturized my face with Embryolisse Lait Creme Concentrate, massaging it into my skin to begin preparations for my foundation. Then I took my new NYX Cosmetics Pore Filler as a primer and applied the moussey balm with my fingers to my T-zone and spread it towards the outer perimeter of my face. I sprayed my face with MAC Fix Plus and then used the Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation in 51, spread on my face with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and then I pressed the product into my skin with the Real Techniques Miracle Sponge to smooth it out. I used MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15 under my eyes and around my nose, mouth, and my little friend, and I'm blending that in with the same damp sponge. Then I took Purely Cosmetics Diamond Perfect Finish Powder and set under my eyes with the Real Techniques Setting Brush and powdered the rest of my face with the F40 Medium Angled Brush. I buffed around the edge of the eyeshadow to smoke it out into my face makeup using some Strange and the Transition Blending Brush. I grabbed the Balm Mary Luminizer and the Hakuhodo S113 highlight brush to add some of the champagne shimmer to my cheekbones, the tip of my nose, and my cupid's bow. Next I took the sleek Candy Collection Sweet Cheeks palette and chose the shade Dolly Mix and applied the blush with my Napoleon Perdis 20B Reflective Contour Brush. I sprayed my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and I fanned that dry, then strengthened my beauty spot with my brow wax and patted it into my skin. I primed my lips with MAC Prep and Prime Lip Base to prepare them. And then I grabbed the multi-purpose MAC Chromographic Pencil in Rich Purple again and lined my lips in my favorite pointed Cupid's bow shape to give myself a framework for the liquid lipstick to come, not overlining or doing anything crazy. And lastly, I went for my new Pretty Zombie Cosmetics Liquid to Matte Lipstick in the shade 3 Witches and applied that straight on with the doe foot applicator to give myself this amazing blue-toned purple lip. You can check out my upcoming video about the eternal search for the perfect purple lipstick with reviews and swatches of all my many purple lipsticks, comparing them for the purple lip connoisseur. And that's it! I really liked how this purple smoky eye came out, and I think all my practice and playing with makeup has let me make this the best purple smoky eye I have ever created. All of these tips can be used to create absolutely any colored smoky eye, and the only things you have to remember is layer similar tones of colors to fade it out, use a transition shade to merge it into your skin tone, and blend a shitload. You can find all the details for the products used in this tutorial on my blog linked in the description box with affiliate links too. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this purple smoky eye tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes.
Click the little boxes if you want to see other